Up next, the state government to introduce $55 million in the Hunter next year. Plus, housing, energy and transition and cost of living measures in the state budget for Hunter Peak representative groups. And the Knights still struggling after their heartbreaking 2-point loss to the Raiders. That's coming up next on NBN News. Good evening, welcome to NBN News. I'm Colin McLeod. Tonight, the state government to announce $55 million in new health projects across the Hunter by next year. Plus, energy and accountability on the Hunter's state budget wish list. And the Knights go down to the Raiders by 2 points. But first, the state government will invest $55 million in new health projects across the Hunter over the next year. Tuesday's budget will include $22 million for Maitland Integrated Community Mental Health Services, $20 million for Foster Tuncurry Hospital, and $13 million for Residential Eating Disorders Treatment Centre. The 12-bed centre, which was announced in April, will be built on Dudley Road at Charlestown and will provide specialist support to people aged 16 and over with severe eating disorders. Funding will also continue with the $835 million John Hunter Health and Innovation Precinct. The $500 million new Maitland Hospital and Car Park, the $111.5 million Cessnock Hospital redevelopment, Stage 2 of the $100 million Manning Hospital redevelopment, and Stage 3 of the $45 million Muswellbrook Hospital redevelopment. Meanwhile, Minister for Regional Health and Mental Health Bronnie Taylor said this: from delivering the new residential eating disorder care, the first in the state, to funding to continue the delivery of both the Muswellbrook and Manning Hospital redevelopments, the New South Wales government is committed to ensuring excellent health outcomes for locals for years to come. Transport authorities have urged commuters to plan their trips to work carefully, with services including school buses caught up in 24 hours of industrial action. The Rail, Tram and Bus Union has planned to strike until 5 a.m. Light rail and ferries are due to run as normal. Services operated by the Hunter Valley buses, Rover Motors and Port Stephens coaches are not part of the industrial action and are expected to run as scheduled during the strike. Meanwhile, Hunter students have participated in their own G20 summit, stepping into the shoes of world leaders to discuss global issues from a range of perspectives. The 12-year 7 and 8 students are in the Virtual Academy, the Catholic Schools Office gifted program, and were encouraged to research their nominated leaders' positions on priority areas including health and well-being, politics and society and the environment. They shared 5 facts about their nation and were presented with 3 statements about vaccines, mental health, and shelter. They stated whether their leader agreed or disagreed, gathered with other leaders who shared their opinion to develop initiatives to bring their positions into reality, and then developed a statement demonstrating their commitment to the matter. Meanwhile, Hunter jet setters have flocked to the NEX Newcastle to release some pent-up travel demand and plan their next holiday. Hello World Hunter Travel Group Managing Director Brent Dan says a rush of about 2,000 people visited Hello World's travel holiday and cruise expo on Sunday, where 40 exhibitors offered destination information and details. Meanwhile, Mr. Dan said there's lots of pent-up travel demand. It's been pretty exciting. We started off with our team, meeting with all the staff and the suppliers, cruise lines and airlines, and it's exciting because it's one of the finest expos in Australia because we haven't found them. Well, furniture fans, start your shopping trolleys. Retail giant IKEA has quickly announced plans to open a planning store in Newcastle. The European furniture company announced on its website last month it will open new customer meeting points in Australia called planning studios this year. The first IKEA planning studio will open in northwest Melbourne before the end of the year, with an additional location looking to be secured in Newcastle, the website said. A planning studio sized between just 300 and 500 square metres is a place where customers can plan and order complex home furnishing products and services such as kitchens, wardrobes, and console units. The studios will have a collection point close by where customers can collect their products. Meanwhile, a proposal for a new $5.2 million one-stop medical centre at Glendale could see a slew of specialties all housed under one roof. Stockland has lodged a development application with Lake Macquarie City Council with plans to bring better medical care to locals. If the project is approved, a Stockland spokeswoman said the medical centre next door to Target would not only be a great addition to the centre, but would enhance the health and well-being services available to the community, with capacity for 32 staff members. Meanwhile, she said, Stockland is committed to creating community-focused retail centres that provide a convenient mix of services and retail under one roof for our staff. There was a lot of emotion at Sunday night's Logies, with Bruce McAvaney inducted into the Hall of Fame. And also, there was good news for the soap drama Home and Away, with the Channel 7 soap winning the award for most popular drama. And because of that, TV presenter Hamish Blake won the Gold Logie for most popular personality on Australian TV. Housing, energy transition, and cost of living measures are at the top of the state budget wish list for Hunter Peak representative groups. The New South Wales government will hand down its 2022-23 budget today, which is set to include more women's safety measures, housing support for frontline workers, and $55 million in new Hunter health projects. But Business Hunter and committee for the Hunter have a few more items they're hoping to see money for, and will be keeping a close eye on funding allocations for previously promised projects. Meanwhile, Committee for the Hunter CEO, Alice Thompson, said one of their most urgent priorities was $100,000 for the Hunter Regional Hydrogen Technology Cluster to build the capacity of building businesses to participate in hydrogen value chains. She said the money was crumbs in the overall budget, but was needed to extend the project beyond at the end of this month. She said that it's too early for it to thrive on its own. Meanwhile, Ms. Thompson and the Business Hunter CEO Bob Halls both mentioned the proposed Border of Newcastle container terminal as another item to diversify the economy. Also on the transaction front, Ms. Thompson said the government should boost its royalties for Rejuvenation Fund to support those affected by the closure of coal-fired power stations and mines. Meanwhile, hundreds of Newcastle buses stopped running on Monday as drivers took to the streets, calling for a 7% pay rise. Drivers working on bus routes operated by private company Coalesce Downer went on strike for 24 hours, stopping at about 150 buses, routes from running until 2 a.m. today. Rail, Tram and Bus Union, Tram and Bus Division President Daniel Jaggers said the union is asking for a 7% pay increase over 2 years to keep up with the rising cost of living. He said anything less than 7% will have us going backwards with inflation and the cost of living that is going up. Members are concerned they'll be pushed out of Newcastle like drivers in Sydney have to the other suburbs just to survive. Newcastle bus drivers are concerned they won't be able to afford it to live in Newcastle and drive a bus. Coalesce Downer originally afforded a 10.5% pay increase over 4 years, but Mr. Jaggers said that is not enough. Meanwhile, he said this: drivers are sending a clear message to Coalesce Downer, and they've been reasonable in their expectations for a pay rise. There are others out there clearly asking for way more. 7% over 2 years is quite reasonable. Bus driver Jonathan, who preferred not to use his last name for legal reasons, said he travels 40 minutes to get to the bus depot every day because he cannot afford to live near it. He said, all we are asking for is a fair pay rise so that we can actually stay in the area and continue our jobs. We worked through the pandemic. We work all hours. We've done our bit. Just give us something because we all have families to support and it is not an unreasonable ask. Coalesce Downer said the strike was disappointing for those who relied on Newcastle buses and called on the union to accede the dispute through discussions, but Mr. Jaggers said the strike was a last resort. Mr. Jaggers said that drivers are part of the Newcastle community, so they know how much not a bus impacts the community. They have children and grandchildren who catch these buses, so it hurts us to do this. Meanwhile, from 2:01 a.m. this morning, bus drivers also stopped logging into their consoles indefinitely, stopping Opal cards from working and giving commuters free rides. Coles Downer have been in negotiations with the union since November last year. The company said they will continue to negotiate with the union until they reach an outcome. This was the second time this month Newcastle bus drivers have gone on strike. Deborah Moroney still has nightmares. Rain bucketing down, her blue Ford Falcon skidding uncontrollably towards the edge of the bridge. A moment of weightlessness before she smacked into the Swansea Channel. Ice cold seawater pouring in. And of course, Moroney was injured in a crash that occurred in 2017. It's been 5 long years since she crashed through the rail on Swansea Bridge, diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder after she fell into depression, using alcohol to quieten the storm into her. Things had just started to take a turn for the better when Miss Moroney received a statement of claim totaling $11,758.45 million from Roads and Maritime Services. She said, "I was definitely on my way back." And it never happened. And it never helped the fact that I can't take a car through a car wash. When I hit the water, I will scream. Sometimes I have to pull over and have a moment. All of us girls do. Have a bit of a cry. You just have to go through the moment. The fact she survived at all was heralded a miracle. Unclipping her seatbelt and having the forethought to open the window before she hit the water. In a twist of sheer luck, she had told her then 12-year-old son Ethan to ride home from soccer practice with his dad, saving him from the horror that could have claimed both of their lives. Australia's largest natural gas infrastructure business, APA Group, has signed a 30-year agreement for the transport and storage of gas to the Hunter Power Project at Kurri Kurri. It will also construct and own the 20-kilometre connection known as a gas lateral from Killingworth to Kurri and an associated 70 teragal gas storage facility. It is estimated construction of the $264 million project will employ 400 people. It is intended that the construction of the gas lateral, which is yet to receive New South Wales planning approval, will occur in conjunction with the construction of the power plant. The power plant is due to deliver its first power in the summer of 2023. Up next, the Knights secure another heartbreaking loss after going down by 2 points to the Raiders.
Into big business now, are we?
Nope. I'm quite happy with the small business I own, Louise.
Who are you banking with now, Bob?
Newcastle Permanent.
No, I mean your company banking.
Yeah, we're with a firm.
Didn't know they did business banking.
Well, they have done for quite some time now, Dad.
Oh, good move.
That's mine. Thank you.
Your business is in good hands with Newcastle Permanent.
They're our building society.
A try by former Knights junior Hudson Young condemned Newcastle to a heartbreaking 20-18 loss to the Canberra Raiders at GIO Stadium on Sunday. With Canberra trailing 18-4 and both teams out on their feet, second row Young gubbed kicked ahead in the 79th minute and won the race to the ball in controversial circumstances to score close to the post. Canberra halfback Jamal Fogarty converted to clinch a memorable victory for the home team, their fifth in the past 6 games. Greta Brankston Colts Jr. Young helped the Knights win the Howard Matthews Premiership in 2014, playing alongside the likes of future Newcastle first graders Brodie Jones and Braden Musgrave. The loss was Newcastle's 10th in their past 12 games and left them needing divine intervention to have any realistic hopes of reaching the finals. With 10 games left in the season, the Knights are 6 points behind the top 8, but there are actually 10 teams who have banked at any 3 more wins than them. Up next, a battle of Central versus South in Newcastle Rugby League.
I'm going to buy that.
Into big business now, are we?
No, I'm quite happy with the small business I own, Louise.
Who are you banking with now, Bob?
Newcastle Permanent.
No, I mean your company banking.
Yeah, we're with the firm.
Didn't know they did business banking.
Well, I have done for quite some time now, Dad.
Oh, good move.
That's mine. Thank you.
Your business is in good hands with Newcastle Permanent.
They're our building society.
Take another look.
Good news for Ray Warren fans. He's coming out of retirement, of course, to have his voice in the children's television series Bluey, and of course, it's a State of Origin episode of the show, and also the episode is titled The Decider. Because of that, it airs onto the ABC Kids block on Thursday morning. And of course, that episode continues on Thursday night. To Newcastle Rugby League, and Central Newcastle burst out the box and then hang tough to account for South Newcastle 12-10 at St John Oval on Sunday. And it was a move that they had to do. And because of that, Central moved straight into the top 3. It was a battle of Central Newcastle versus South Newcastle in round 12 of the Newcastle Rugby League. It was the South Newcastle Lions, and of course it was right up against the Central Newcastle Butcher Boys. And of course the Butcher Boys were the first to score. The Butcher Boys led 6-0. And of course, it all but continued. South Newcastle were trying to do everything they could, but it was no good. South scored a try, which then led to 12-6. But by the time it was all done, Central secured a 12-10 win to move into the top three. That's how it stayed right up at full time. Meanwhile, it was time to go up to the Central Coast, where the home side, the Entrance Tigers, were. And of course, Maitland were quickly the target over there, with the Entrance securing a marvellous win. By the time the match was, of course, started to become over, then it was Maitland's turn to score tries.
Browning's all good there. Browning's good. Play on.
Despite it becoming a huge good effect, despite Maitland leading right throughout the second half, despite the good times, the Entrance were just way too good for Maitland. Edging them out with a huge win. Final score 20-16. Then more battles came on the other side, as West were up against Curry.
Who will use it first. Couldn't quite get it going. Radzajevic and Luffrey.
And of course, West were the first to score tries.
Stone got it from Marshall.
It was Western Suburbs versus Curry.
West starting to hoik it from side to side here. This time, Price. He's in. He sold them about 17 dummies and crashed over on the edge.
He definitely did.
Mackenzie's going a little
then,
here.
Curry knew what to do.
They stroll into the into the West half again. Now Mackenzie on a little run, and it's a beauty. Away to Fowler.
And of course,
they've got him. Or do they?
And of course, Curry scored a try.
Ethan Fowler under the posts. Looked like it was all over. The only man in the ground who didn't think so was the one with the ball. I've actually called him before.
It all continued on.
The Johns Cup or the Daily Cup, one of the junior rep comps. Yeah, here we go. Last play of the half, and it's a field goal shot here from Smith. It's not a bad looking one. It is.
Curry kicked a field goal just in full time, just in the half-time squad. By the time Curry was leading at half-time,
Keenan and Luffrey
the Western
and
suburbs
Dennis
fought back.
And Radzajevic is in the corner. And just like that, Curry, having been on the attack, have conceded up the other end from Wests. In the lovely afternoon sun, there's a big shot on Carroll.
Then the attacks all but continued.
Stepping and finding Luffrey, and there are numbers there as you'd expect, and they have used them straight away.
With West securing a huge win over Curry.
Wasn't it just? It's Radzajevic in again. There's nothing there for them. This is last. Big chance for Curry with 12 against 13. They'll go to Smith. Fizzing ball. There's not much
parlay, nice. Play on.
By the time it all happened, Curry dropped the ball in controversial circumstances. Then West had the ball.
All the way for Wests. And all the way off the bottom of the table. 18-7. He's got some words for the Curry supporters on the touchline. And he has got an 11-point lead for the Rosellas. Herman, there's that play again.
It's that play again.
This time it works for Ben Stone.
Of course, that gave Curry their most recent loss in
The way
history.
he's celebrating it probably is. He's been good value in the middle of the park, off the bench. Now Badiris and Price running wide at hooker. Finds a pass. Radzajevic will get his hat-trick. Well, I don't know what Fraser Price was doing out there, but he's done it well. Wests have got the points, 28 points to 7.
Time on, we're underway here in the feature match of the round.
Back to the good ones, and of course Lakes United took on the Wyong Roos.
Carry with Dan Browler, met hard and heavy there from 3.
It certainly was.
Williams comes to the left. Hannigan.
Wyong scored first, but it wasn't long.
With a big hit. Getting a short side.
And of course, Wyong scored one of the best tries.
He spilled it, held up in fact. Well, it's all happening here at Cole. Lays it on the 20. Ties with it.
But despite that,
Blackman inside here.
it was moved forward.
Up, but the door closes. Last one here.
Lakes United versus Wyong.
Go out to the left. Ty will put this to the sky. Boyle's underneath it. It's been picked up there. We've got a try.
Lakes United then later scored a try
First try of the
after Wyong's was denied.
The referee likes it. There's a wall of gold and blue there, and that's a good shot there from Blackburn.
Then a couple of tackles occurred, and of course Wyong finally had a good chance to score.
Away to it, Andrews. He's almost crabbed his way over. Williams down the short side. Gordon goes over practically untouched. Last one here for the Roos. Williams goes for a run, puts it on the
Wyong led 6-0. Wyong led 6-4.
I think Mars put the ball down, but the referee says no, it's been grounded. Well, fighting for survival. For a slim chance of making the 5 this year. Well, Wyong just outside the 5. They need a win. Nathan King runs straight into Muir, and he says,
Van.
Shot from Charlie Muir.
It was a massive shot indeed.
They go to the right-hand side. Ty. Short ball, lovely ball to Muir. Muir's going to crash.
Lakes United were trying to fight back, but it was all too late.
Mitch Williams in a dummy half. Fires out here to Hannigan. Hannigan does the dummy, but he's wrapped up there by the other Mitch Williams. Mitch Williams dummy half.
As Wyong scored more tries.
Keep saying that name over and over again. Here's Andrews. Andrews linking up here with Blackhall, who spins out of a tackle. Still going on, Zach Blackhall for the corner. He gets over. And the Roos are back in front. Out to the left they go. Andrews. Andrews running to the line. Gets the ball away to Blackhall. He's going to cross for
And of course, the victory belonged to Wyong.
That was too easy for the Wyong Roos. Blackman gets us back underway. Hopwood waits for it. King. To a run, and he's been creamed by
Wyong led 16 to 8.
First grade. What about that one? Coming across the field, this. Oh, almost slipped over. Oh, good hit. Tane Marn on Black Pots. Down the short side goes Mitchell Williams. He straightens up, looks for support, just fires it out here. Still play on here for Hotwood. He puts it on the toe.
It was huge.
Gordon goes for it. He gets a double. Stephen Gordon, the veteran. It's been a while since he scored two. Wyong Roos have got the points here.
Wyong winning 20 to 8.
19 and Liam Higgins.
Meanwhile,
In the back row, we've got Luke Higgins.
it was a battle of the Macquarie Scorpions versus the Cessnock Goannas.
Very talented family that Macquarie have been fortunate to have come through their junior ranks. You see,
As it was still round 12.
in defence, but AJ Murray a little bit too much there, just lifts the leg and ends up in a dangerous position. Take that, yeah. Come out to the right here, Kyle Kingston, the former Central Newcastle Butcher Boy. Slice through the middle, he's across the 40, he's across the 30, over the 10, and he'll score the first points here today at Lyle Peacock. Kyle Kingston opens the scoring, and the quick tap, it didn't look like it amount to anything before Kingston sliced through like a hot knife through butter. Interestingly, it'll be Jaden Wright.
Macquarie led 4-0 first and kicked a goal to quickly score 6-0.
Ford Higgins. That Aora just got hold of his collar. If he was any higher, he would have been in trouble. A little scoot from dummy half. Aldridge, tackle 5. They're a metre out, just in line with the right upright. They go deep. Flat ball, they get their hands the outside. He manages to reel it in. Well done. Kyle Kingston's got his second. Now back into half.
Despite that, Macquarie led 10-0. Then suddenly Cessnock struck back.
But that's tackle 5 and they've gone nowhere in this set. Peter Godinay, he's going to reach out to score. Breaks through 2 players, gets it down next to the uprights. And that's what we needed, just someone to take this by the scruff of the throat. Should be a cracking finish.
10-6.
Eliezer Murray back out there, so he's gone into the 9 role, has he? They almost get free again, Cessnock. Got 3 hookers, O'Brien, Godinay, Murray, they're all playing.
And of course, Cessnock were uncontrollable.
Woodbury couldn't take it. Claims from Gibson of an obstruction. He wants an escort call.
We would be disappointed if he missed it.
It's not a guarantee.
Here he comes.
Here he comes. He dresses it well.
Both teams won 10-all. Then
Whiteshaw back underneath him. He's gone.
Then Cessnock, of course, had a good opportunity to score.
He's been the sweeper, as you would in soccer. He's cleaned up a few efforts today.
Here we go. Tuha.
Onedi Tuha.
And of course, Cessnock kicked the match-winning field goal. 11 points to 10.
Lead 11 points to 10. Royce Jeffrey calling for time off. Cessnock has snatched victory.
And of course, round 13 of Newcastle Rugby League starts this weekend. Meanwhile, round 8 of the Hunter Rugby Union also came back. And of course, it was Maitland up against Southern Beaches. It was round 8 of the competition. Maitland led 7-0 right up in the start. That all continued when Maitland ran with the ball and scored. $14-0, and it was all on a great condition. The Southern Beaches then later scored a try. They were on 7 points. Maitland, of course, didn't care. Maitland later had a match-winning try to score. Maitland had 14, which later turned to 21. 28-7. And of course it was Maitland's turn for a victory. $35-7. It was huge for Maitland. First running of the ball, and then it all but continued on when they ended up scoring. 42-7. Maitland ran with the ball and scored. 47-7. It then later turned 52-7. Then it was time to give it a stop. With Maitland securing one of the best wins. Maitland won 59-7. Maitland secured a 66-7 win. But the other one was, of course, Lake Macquarie up against Merewether. Merewether scored first. Merewether on 5 points. $12-0. And of course, Merewether Carlton had to extend their lead. $19-0. And of course, Merewether was still breaking Lake Macquarie's hearts. Then the unstoppable Merewether continued. $31-0 was later turned 33-0. Then Merewether scored yet again. $40-0. It was huge for Merewether. 45-0. Soon turned to 47-0. By the time it had reached the second half, 54-0. $61-0. And of course, Merewether Carlton were just too good for their rivals. $68-0. It was marvellous form for Merewether, running with the ball and then scoring dozens of tries. but try-scoring fest for Merriweather all continued. 80-0 turned later to 82-0. And of course, it was all Merriweather's day. 89-0. And of course, Lake Macquarie had to score a try of their own. Then, Merriweather quickly scored one of the best match-winning tries. Winning the match. Then, the Hamilton Hawks took on the Singleton Bulls. Both teams had 0 points until Hamilton broke the deadlock. $5-0, and of course, the Hawks were on fire. 10-0. That's what Hamilton really needed, a win. Good. 15-0. It was just huge for Hamilton. 20-0. And of course, Singleton tried everything that they could do. Singleton won 7. And of course, Hamilton knew exactly what was going on. 25-7. Then, of course, Hamilton had to score. $32-7. It was just massive for the Hamilton Hawks. They were unstoppable. $37-7. Was soon changed to 42-7. And of course, Hamilton scored one of the best tries of the second half. But with not enough time left, there was good news for Hamilton. 54-7. And of course, next week, Friday. And of course, Hamilton won 59-7. And of course, Hamilton 66-7. And of course, running with the ball like it was a soccer game, and it certainly was. And then scoring after that. 71-7. to the Harvey Normans New South Wales Rugby League Women's Premiership, and the Newcastle Knights took on the Central Coast Roosters right up on their hometown. Because of that, the Roosters scored the first try.
Rose gives a nice pass to Jadon, and it's moved it on nicely, and there's the first points of the evening. Some lovely ball movement from the Roosters, and Jamie Fressard, the number 4, has scored in this right-hand corner as Shannon Rose got absolutely whacked after she passed the ball.
Then the Newcastle Knights came in the second half to quickly level it at 4-4 to score their first try of the night.
Runners outside, but once again, this Roosters defence, she drives her backwards. Short pass once again for Page. Page! Has she turned it over? She certainly has, and Page will lock it up. So eventually, the Roosters' defence cracks under the pressure from the Newcastle Knights, and it's 4-4, kick to come.
And of course, with a goal conversion to come, it was time for the Knights to have
Just
a good decision.
You can see Morris, she looked up. She had Page charging onto it. Howard through the dummy. She takes the tackle. And then Morris, as I said, she looks up. She looked left. She looked right. Waving out. And then she comes back to the right. And Howard keeps low and drives through the Roosters' defence. So Melanie Howard trying to add her 11th goal for the season. And there might not be a more important one. Moves in. Touch judges are more than happy. The flags are in the air. And the Knights have hit the lead, 6-4.
And of course, the Knights led 6-4. The Knights came back and, of course, scored their second try.
Working hard again, Roman Newick quickly passes it on to Howard. Howard in turn finds Quinn. Quinn keeps it alive. Can they stay on the field of play? They certainly can. Butler will score. There was some good work from Draper, who kept the ball alive, and on the back of a strong run from Shanice Parker. Hasn't been played.
And of course, the Central Coast Roosters had to quickly level the score by scoring a try back.
And Jamie Fressard. We let the crowd tell the story then. There was a kick, a rush kick from the Knights. And Fressard, she's been dangerous this time. She just said, give me a foot race. And the Knights couldn't catch her. 10-8. Nervous times as you look at the coaching staff of the Knights. I mean, the Central Coast Roosters. They know how important this is. 9 minutes left. And this try. You see how trying to put the kick through. It was Fressard who charged it down. And she showed a clean pair of heels.
And of course, there was good news for both the Roosters and the Knights. They had a 10-all draw.
To try and lock it up. 8 minutes to go. She Gets plenty on it. Looks good from me. You can hear the crowd. Flags are in the air. And we are locked up. Buckle up, baby. We've got a big 8 minutes. Says time off. He's called full time.
That's how it stayed though.
Both sides
With
looking
both
at
the
each
Central
other.
Coast Roosters and the Newcastle Knights sharing the points 10-all. In round 8 of the Group 21 Rugby League, Greater Brankston has defeated Singleton, while Scone defeated Aberdeen and Denman defeated Muswellbrook. In round 10 of the AFL Hunter Central Coast Women's Competition, Newcastle City secured a win over Singleton, Cardiff defeated Terrigal Avoca, and Killarney Vale defeated Wyong Lakes. Still on it, and of course Terrigal Avoca defeated Maitland in round 10 of the Black Diamond Plate Women's by 2 points, and of course Killarney Vale defeated Gosford in a battle of the Central Coast, while Cardiff defeated Port Stephens. And of course Lake Macquarie annihilated Wallsend West Newcastle, and Newcastle City defeated the entrants Bateau Bay. To round 9 of the Ladies League tag of Newcastle Rugby League, and Morpeth defeated Awabakal, Cardiff annihilated Shortland, while Dudley defeated Raymond Terrace, and West Wallsend defeated the Tea Gardens. To ice hockey, and the Newcastle North Stars have had a mix-up in their doubleheader over the weekend with the Canberra Brave. First, Newcastle had their first loss of the season on Saturday before beating the Canberra Brave on Sunday. Meanwhile, the NBL 1 East came back over the weekend, and it was a battle of the Hunter teams in both the men's and women's competition. Meanwhile, Maitland secured a win over Newcastle, while in the women, Newcastle beated Maitland. In the men's competition, Maitland were always going to be the good favourites. But if you need a score, that's exactly what the Maitland Mustangs had to do up against the Newcastle Falcons.
Matt Gray, great boards. Nothing dropping from Newcastle from outside.
With the silence, with the buzzer sounding, it was huge. It was a return for the NBL 1 East after a week off, and it was huge.
He's done well. Yeah.
The Falcons tried desperately hard to strike back, but it was not good enough.
10-point lead to the Mustangs.
With that music on again, it was just...
Another 3. Maitland shooting well tonight.
It was a huge one.
Let's make that a 13-point lead. And they missed
With
again
the siren coming on,
1 for 10
the Mustangs had to do something really quickly.
That'll be a foul on account, Butch. Gonna put it up. And he hit it. That's a big shot.
The Mustangs led 49-30.
That is great body control.
As it was a battle of the Hunter teams.
And another turnover from Newcastle. And a great pass. And finished from Matt Gray. It's a shot, rebound again, and a foul. And 1. He's injecting himself into this game. Newcastle searching for something.
And of course, Newcastle were on 45 while Maitland won 67. Then, Maitland won 72 while Newcastle won 50.
What Newcastle do here on the break? One-handed left-hand finish.
Both teams having goals and slam dunks scored.
Great roll from Cherry and a nice pass from Ryan Beastie.
Kicks it out to Turner. Gets another look for
Maitland
three.
led
Cannot get it to
74,
drop, but a
while
great
Newcastle
offensive
had
rebound.
56
And a
points.
beautiful pass.
And of course, there was not
And it's
enough
very
time left
effective.
on the clock, with only a minute to go.
Nice pass. And great finish from Billy Parsons. Victory.
Maitland was just
By the
too
Maitland
good,
Mustangs.
defeating the Falcons 93 to 71.
That's a
Meanwhile,
round
it
for our
was
club, like mental health
the
round. It's
same
NBL
one, but in the
one's
women's
mental health round
competition,
nationally, obviously.
as the Newcastle Falcons opened the round with a score,
careful here.
and also with a point.
Munger again with
And
that
of course,
three.
the
Well,
Falcons
Fox is
led
almost,
10 points to 6.
I call her a veteran now, so
Yeah.
doesn't surprise
Especially
me
in
that
a
she saw
fairly
that.
young Mustangs group.
Correct, yeah. Kingham, that was pretty. That was straight in front of us, especially when you're giving away
The
a few
Falcons then led
inches.
25 to 18.
Kick out from Fox to Walker,
Taylor.
and she hits the first three ball for the Mustangs.
Great defense from Fox again. She's
Maitland then led it by
working hard.
1.
And Rachel
That was
stays in
before
front.
Newcastle struck
Great
back.
dish from Kingham.
Was
Just the
great
weak
find
side.
in the end.
Weak
Yeah,
side
just
switched
that
off a little bit.
hard there, giving away a little bit
The
in
Falcons led
size, but not in
33
heart.
to 28.
As Ralph takes it to the hoop, almost untouched, almost shocked that she was so untouched, and Evans hits a three left alone out there. She has.
Evans is
Now, of
I
course,
just hate her a bit
Newcastle's
tight there. We
turn.
don't need to play her as
Hopefully,
tight out on that.
have a good result.
Duncans does well just to stay in front court, enough pressure on and not
Now
pick
was
up her
Newcastle's
last.
turn
Evans
to
with
take
the
a
spin.
good result in a battle of the Hunterton.
For the Falcons' narrow lead. Great take from Munger.
Was indeed. Trying to get that rebound. Miller does well against Redavetta. Oh, Evans left all alone at that 3-point line. Couldn't quite go, and Duncans brings down a rebound. Kicks ahead to Woskowicz, who decides to go on foot.
Good take,
Oh,
and
nice. And great finish there by Walker again. Youth League hit out also.
Newcastle on 54, Maitland
Oh, Evans
47.
just found herself open there. And
The Falcons then led 62 to 47.
Nice defiance, space.
oh,
Great cut.
that was
Great pass.
pretty.
Great cut from Donkins. Great pass from Gallego.
Look for a pick and pop here on Evans. She's taking Gallego. Spins.
Ooh,
Got a nice roll to that one.
nice move.
She would have liked that one
Maitland
to drop.
51,
All the hard
Newcastle
work and stuck
71.
behind a man when she turned ahead. Kingham finds her 3
And of
points.
course, Newcastle scored more in the fourth and final quarter, 76 to 51.
As it's going up. Nice.
That one before.
So it's opened up like a hula hoop down the other
Then
end.
78
A little
to
bit disappointing to
54.
see in the closing minutes. It's not a true reflection of how the game's been. It's been quite close the whole time as Nix drains another 3 and hits 18 points for the game. And Monique will
Here's the
shoot
best
that.
one
The
in
sharpshooter.
history.
Let's see if she. Ooh.
Newcastle 80, Maitland 57.
Brings us to a close.
In the Hunters NPL men's competition, Edgeworth defeated Western, while Valentine's secured a win over Lake Macquarie. While Edgeworth secured a win over Western. Also, Maitland defeated Adamstown 2-0. Also, in the other games, Lambton and Charlestown shared the points, 1-1, while there was just a marvellous one in the reserve grades as well. In the Women's Premier League, Warners Bay has secured a huge win over Charlestown Azuri, while Maitland were too strong for Adamstown. Meanwhile, Newcastle Olympic were too good for Mid-North Coast. Also, it was just a massive one. Meanwhile, in hockey, South did their best work early to down University 7 points to 1 in the Hunter Coast Premier Hockey League on Sunday. Seb Rollins scored a hat-trick, while Ben Hallen, Simon Vimpani, Jack Eckford and Kobe Johnson got one each for the third-placed Lions, who went to 5 wins and 3 losses for the season. Meanwhile, in the other game, Gosford beat West 7 points to 1. Michael Taylor scored 3 penalty corner goals. Meanwhile, on Saturday, all Newcastle's women's Premier League games at the Newcastle International Hockey Club were washed out because of the wet weather. Up at Wyong on the Central Coast, Gosford beat Uni 3-0. Next, your local weather for Newcastle is up next.
Turn it up. Your Colonel's got some new moves this season. Woo! More fun for you chicken fans, too. Because my new popcorn chicken's out at KFC. Little bites of tender chicken breast in a crunchy coating. Non-stop and mouth-popping fun. Woo! Nothing but net. Hop in a KFC for my new popcorn chicken. Alley-oop. And slam dunk some for yourself. Your Colonel, he demand.
In a world where everything appears to be built the same, comes a range of cars built with a difference. Built to be the ultimate in drivability and spaciousness. Cars that not only look better, but have the body armor that lasts. And every detail is checked to ensure they're as reliable as they are durable. What you see are the new Hyundais. And you thought we were just a small car company. Hyundai, take another look.
Nothing's more powerful than the impact of a Twister.
Get KFC's Twister Combo, a delicious Twister with chips and a Pepsi for just $5.25.
It sends your taste buds into a spin. Woo! Yeah.
to the weather now, and it was alright for Newcastle as well as the entire Hunter areas, and also it was okay for Lake Macquarie as well. Meanwhile, it was just absolutely fine across the it was just absolutely alright across right across Newcastle today, and also yesterday it was fine as well. It was partly cloudy today with low light winds, 10% chance of any rain. Meanwhile, it will be mostly sunny tomorrow with a minimum of 8 with a maximum of 18. Sunny and lightly winds. There's 5% chance of any rain. Here's a forecast of 8 to 18 for Newcastle and 7 to 18 for both Toronto and Wallsend. It was also okay for the Hunter yesterday, but today it was partly cloudy. Of course, there was a 20% chance, a slightly chance of a shower along the coastal fringe, near 0 chance elsewhere of light winds. But it will be alright by tomorrow. It will be sunny as well. The 7-day forecast for the Hunter, it will be alright for Newcastle, 8 to 18. However, it will be 7 to 18 for both Maitland and Gosford, while it will be 6 to 18 for Singleton and 5 to 17 for Scone. And of course, the sun is getting up at about 6:55 and setting at about 4:55. And of course, it will be alright for Newcastle and the Hunter tomorrow. And that's it from all the latest news from NBN and also from all of us here. Good night.